Coach Messer. She's going to start with an opening statement, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Hello, it's good to see everyone. Good to see everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for being here. That's number one. Thank each and every last one of you for being here. Boy, we are so excited about this time of year. My coaching staff and my players, I can't speak more highly of this group as far as how hard they've been working and how every day my players are bringing it to compete and practice. But most importantly, what I'm so proud of is their attitudes. They have great attitudes, and they're bringing great work ethic every day to practice. We understand that our team is going to have three things that we have to stand for this season. That's defense, grit, and speed. I can't wait for you guys to see the speed of this team. My staff and I, we're joking and laughing every day about this is the fastest roster we've ever seen. So now I can't wait for them to have an opportunity to go on the court and show you guys how we plan to display that. I'm really pleased with the three returners that we have that have really shown a lot of leadership. Kai, her third year here at UCF from Fort Lauderdale, who's been nothing but a great leader on and off the court for us this season. Summer Yancey, who's from Kansas City. Summer is one of the most versatile players that you've seen in a long time here. And then, of course, Mahogany Chandler Robertson, who's from Portland, Oregon. At one point last season, led us in offensive rebounding. Just a great knack for the ball and her leadership. She's also on the leadership council here on our SAC council here at UCF. She represents us in the Big 12, and we're just so proud of what she does on and off the court. But our leaders have been great. I know we're similar to other schools across the country who hit the world of the transfer portal, and we have multiple new faces that we're super proud of. We feel like that they're going to be an impactful players for us, and we're just happy to be here, happy to get this season started, and happy that you guys are here for us. So I won't keep you much longer. I know you'd rather hear more about the team than me, but we'll open it up at this point with questions.
Coach Messer, good to see you again. Year 4 here. We're going into this. We're used to hearing about defense and grit from you already. This speed thing is a little different compared to your points you've hit at this point in the season. Where was that in part of your rebuild dealing with the transfer portal? What was that intentional to build kind of from last year as a change to the identity of the team? Where was that in the recruiting strategy, for lack of a better way to put it?
Well, we've always wanted to hang our hats on defense here, our hat on defense here. And so in recruiting, yes, it was a little intentional about, physical players who are grindy and want to get up and play defense. We feel like we added Crystal, who's a transfer from Tulsa, is one of the fastest players I've coached in a long time. Sometimes she's dribbling, she leads the ball. And I'm like, hey, Crystal, you got to keep that thing with you. You're too quick. But she's been great for us on the defensive end and setting the tempo. We feel like our defense is going to have to translate into points this season. And our players are doing a great job of buying into that.
And I got as a quick follow-up, we're talking about recruiting, going across the pond. There's 2 spots here I'm seeing are filled from Sweden.
Yes.
Just talk a bit about how that international recruitment part goes.
So Maya is a freshman for us who's a 4 player, lefty. It's been a while since we had a 4 lefty, but we actually have 2 this season, so we're excited about that. And then we have Felicia. Felicia is a pure shooter. She can shoot it. So that's going to help us when people try to zone us. I feel like she can come in and do a great job. She also can play a little bit of the 1. And I think, being in Orlando, we're blessed. I mean, a lot of people want to live here, so we're able to recruit international. We've had some great players in the past that are international players. So it was a great opportunity to get 2 good players to come play for us here.
Sytia, how challenging is it, or how challenging has it been over the last few years to continue to build a roster through the transfer portal, to create chemistry, which is crucial for a coach, and to build those relationships when you got players that maybe kind of, it feels like a revolving door sometimes when it comes to your roster?
Yeah, and building a culture with the revolving door of the transfer portal can be difficult. But we feel like we have a good foundation with Kai, Summer, and Mahogany, who went to war with us last season and had every opportunity to leave, but they wanted to be a part of this. They want a UCF degree. They want to do the things we talk about: winning in the community, winning in the classroom, and winning on the court. And so they are helping us instill that in players that are coming in. And so we're hoping that eventually players will do what they wanted to do, which was stay. They took less money to stay and be a part of this program, and I'm super excited that they decided to do that.
Coach, you have
Yes.
2 new assistants joining you this season alongside Coach Pitts. Just what can you tell us a little bit about them and what they bring to this staff?
Which ones, I'm sorry?
The new assistant coaches that you brought in along.
Yes, so excited. So I'll start off with Coach Key, Stephen Key. He was the head coach for the Chicago Sky. He has over 10 years in the WNBA as a head coach and an assistant coach. He coached all post coaches. He's a post coach, I should say. He coached our post players. Coach Key is over our defense. And when I say he has one of the best basketball minds I've seen in a long time. And so we're excited to have him. And we feel like whenever we're trying to, our goal is to help these young ladies, right, on and off the court. If you have players who want to play in the WNBA, there's nothing better than have a WNBA head coach experience on your bench. So he brings that along with his basketball knowledge. We have Coach Pitts, who's been with me every season since I've been here except for one. Coach Pitts coaches the guards. He has experience in the ACC. He's coached in the ACC, the Big East, the G League. Tremendous experience. So I really am excited about him, continuing to be with us. Also, we have Coach Anne-Marie Gilbert, who is, when I tell you, she's coached at Michigan State. She's coached at every level. She's been a head coach. She has great experience. Her daughter played in the Big 12, so she has great experience with the Big 12, having had her daughter play in the Big 12. And not only that, she knows how to win. She can flat out coach and she can flat out win. And having that experience on our bench is amazing. And, we've been fortunate to keep some of, our support staff. Aaron has been here with us as our director of ops the entire time, and Bree is with us, and we have Tara, who's from Sweden. Doesn't hurt to have 2 Sweden players here. And so we feel like we have a really good staff.
Kind of going back to Matt's question a minute ago.
Yes.
Do you think that this degree of roster turnover is going to be the norm across college basketball? And how do you adapt and try to make retention more possible?
I think as long as we have a revenue share and we're paying student athletes, this will be the norm for basketball, because what Kai has done, and when you find student athletes who stayed 3 or more years at a university, that's just not normal now. And players are going for what's best for them, and sometimes that's the money, sometimes that's staying, and we just have to adjust to it, and I think with that should come some grace with coaches, right? Because that locker room is different. It's different personalities, and it takes a while to get to know your players. And so we've been intentional about doing team bonding. We've been intentional about establishing relationships with our players. But that's a lot of hard work when a lot of times a lot of coaches are just focusing on the X's and O's because of the transfer portal and just the different personalities. You got to get to know these kids. You really do, before they play hard for you.
So to that point, with regards to grace, this is year 4 for you. How do you juggle those realities with the fact that, there's going to be an expectation of results as well.
Well, expectations is what I live for and what UCF stands for. And I'm proud to be in those shoes. And so I'm very excited about that. And in juggling it, to me, it's a juggle every day, right? Every day we want to get 1% better than we were the day before. And if you do that, then the chip will fall where they may, and the hard work will speak for itself. So great question.
Coach, you mentioned Coach Key on your roster. I'm always curious when a coach has a former head coach there in what tips or tricks you may have picked up. Whether it's on the football side with Scott Frost, whether it's with you here, I'm curious. What is it that is there any advice you've gotten from Coach Key that you've kind of put in your own pocket having this?
Really, one of the things I love about Coach Key is that he spends a lot of time in the office, and he spends a lot of time preparing for his craft and teaching whatever he's teaching with our players. And so one of the things I've learned from him is, okay, he's not big. I'm one of those who I like to nail the picture on the wall, and I keep nailing until that picture is straight, right? And then I turn it and I go to the next picture. Coach Key is like, boom, boom, we can get this, we can get that, we can get. So I've learned from him to multitask in those different ways. So he's been really good for our staff.
Coach, what will it take to be more competitive in the Big 12? This will be the third season coming up. I know it's been a tough transition, moving into one of the top basketball leagues in women's basketball, but just on the court, what will it take to maybe be competitive maybe with that top half?
The biggest thing for us, if you look at the Big 12, okay, Big 12 is a conference that one good recruiting class, you can flip this thing, right? And the biggest thing for us is that's what we feel like we have some good pieces here. It's not just one piece. And I know sometimes in the past we kind of relied on that one piece. And I think the fact that we have multiple players who can step up, and that's what's going to allow us to compete at a high level. And then our defense, we're going to lay our hat on our defense. We really believe that our defense is going to be second to none. Our speed and our ability to pick up the ball and put our opponents on their heels. That's important for us. But we're excited about the Big 12. We have, like I said, coaches and I've been in the Big 12 most of my career as an assistant coach and head coach. So this is a league that I know like the back of my hand. And it's a league that I'm proud to be a part of, and a league that I feel like I know. And I feel like our players can compete and get to the level that we want them to be, not necessarily what people are saying. What's important is what's important to us, not what's important to other people.
And how much have you enjoyed just the spotlight that's been on women's basketball for the last couple of years, especially? Caitlin Clark maybe kind of jump-started it when she was at Iowa. Now in the WNBA, people are talking about WNBA games that maybe didn't happen as much in the past. Just how much you're enjoying this being in the middle of this sport?
This is a great time to be in women's basketball. The good news is women's basketball, we've always competed like this. We're just now getting the spotlight. And we thank players like Caitlin Clark. We thank players like Angel Reese. We thank players, that have done well to put a spotlight on our game. But we've always worked hard, and we're excited that we're finally getting the recognition that we deserve in this game. But it's an exciting time to be in it in women's basketball. I watched every playoff game in the WNBA Finals. I was fortunate to have other 4 teams that were left. I coached a player on each team, recruited, developed, and coached. And so that was exciting to have, to see my players. Nalissa Smith ended up winning with the Aces. And just to see her and her family and those kind of things and win. So it's a great, great, exciting time to be a part of women's basketball.
Coach, there's been a lot of speculation reports that maybe this could be the last year with the tournament being at 68, maybe expanding to maybe 72 or 76. What's your reaction to that? Are you in favor of that? And do you talk about that among your coaches? Because that could benefit like the Big 12, get more teams in.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it. I think anytime you can get more teams in, that's better. It's an opportunity to get more schools in. Sometimes, schools are left out that should be in the tournament. And so I'm very much okay with that. I think I would like to see us expand, very much so.
Coach, how much pressure do you put on yourself to turn UCF into a consistent winner?
I put a lot of pressure on myself to turn UCF into a consistent winner. But I also understand this, that we're carrying a team to the Power Four conference. So when we got here, we were in the American, and there's difference. I mean, there's different resources, there's different level of recruits you have to recruit, all of that. And that I'm giving myself grace for. But the pressure, I know nothing but winning. I chose the University of Arkansas as a player when they were not a top 25 program and led them to a Final Four. I have been fortunate to coach a team and help assist a team to a national championship. And so I know nothing but winning. As head coach at Tennessee Tech, we were predicted last when I took that job, and we finished in the top 4. The next year we won it all, won the OVC and all. So I understand what it takes, and I truly believe that we're going to get it done here. We have the players, we got the staff, we just need the time.
Coach, I'm glad you brought up Angel Reese earlier because I think there's somebody on this roster that goes with defense and is kind of in that image. You mentioned Kai earlier, but
Yes.
now that she's a junior, getting to be more of a leader, one would suspect. What have you seen in her growth, both on and on the court, heading into the season?
One, I say physically. When Kai first came here, to complete a full practice consistently was difficult for her because she had some knee issues, but we managed those. And we learned how to, manage her body. And once she was able to get her body fully healthy, Kai has competed with some of the best post players in the country. Going against Crooks every night at Iowa State and those type post players. Blackwell at Baylor. She's competed and held her own. And so I would say that physically seeing her develop. And on the court, she's one of our go-to players. Right now, she's one of the first people I'm going to offensively. And also Kai's done a great job in the classroom. If she stays on track, she could finish her degree early. And so we're proud of her for those things. And she's a local kid. She's from the state of Florida. And she chose UCF over a lot of schools. And so we're proud of her.
Speaking of local kids, Jasmine Gibson from just up the road in Columbia.
Yes.
How much did you recruit her in high school, or were you cognizant of what she was doing in high school? And how much did her game evolve at UNF? And
That's a great question. Jasmine was on the All ASUN freshman team, and she actually came to our camp in high school with her high school team in our team camp. And so I've known Jasmine, had an opportunity to watch her in high school, but we really liked the way that she went out and developed herself and became one of the top rebounders in her class across the nation. And so we're excited to have her back home. She's a local kid from Orlando, and she's brought great energy every day in practice. She's one of my lefties, so we're excited to just have her as a part of this team.
What kind of role do you see for her in the rotation right out of the gate?
Well, I think eventually we'd like to see her be more of a versatile 3-4, but right now we have her at the 4. So she'll be playing some of the inside for us. She will be one of the players that I think who can switch off 1 through 4. She can defend 1 through 4. She gets down low, and she's long, and she's lanky, and she does a great job of defense. So we're seeing her from a defensive standpoint. She could defend 1 through 4. Offensively, we're still developing that end, but she's shown, great strides. Happy to have her here.
Coach, piggybacking off of Jasmine, she's just one of the few transfers that you got that have 3 or more years of eligibility still remaining. So what was it like going into the transfer portal and balancing maybe getting some of that youth from the portal that have more years of eligibility you can build from versus getting people with experience that might have just 1 or 2 years left?
It goes back to the culture, right? We were intentional about some kids that we got that we know that they're just proud to be at UCF and they want to wear the Knights across their chest. So if they had a couple more years, we feel Logan had is a kid that just a sophomore. You know, we feel like she's a culture kid, that she could come in, does well in our locker room, she does what we asked. Academically, in the community, those kind of things, she's been really good for us. So that was intentional with some kids as far as building our culture. And some of them are really good players. You know, we're expecting Savannah Scott from Auburn to come in and be a force in the inside. She's someone we look to help Kai in the inside.
All right, we're all set?
Sure,
Thank you
thanks.
very much.
Oh, thank you guys. That was quick. Oh, thank you guys. Go Knights.
All right, so we'll have